people that are resentful towards her. But it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents.
To be clear, Caitlin Clark is being fouled at a record rate. Some of them are brutal fouls, and a lot of the refs are looking the other way.
Fortunately, it's creating a textbook hostile work environment for Caitlin Clark. And under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, the federal government does have an ability to engage.
Caitlin Clark recently revealed some very important information, and it's definitely not good. She is officially out for the season after months of vicious fouls, no protection, and constant disrespect. Yes, exactly. Caitlin Clark has been injured. The biggest star in the league is leaving. It's not that she's weak. Rather, it's that the WNBA essentially ignored her.
Despite all that success that she's immediately had, the league has basically looked the other way as she's been targeted on a weekly basis.
I take it that Caitlin Clark exploded into the scene? She was signed by the Indiana Fever. The WNBA was abruptly shown what true media attention looks like. Yes, we have had rookies in the past, but nothing like this. She was more than a mere athlete. Whatever you want to call it, she became the league's cash cow, face, or golden goose right away.
Because she's brilliant, right? That's why she's wreaking havoc. Because she is so...
As well as the figures. Indeed, their shout was louder than any headline. Engagement on the league app increased by 6,313%. Hey, nobody has ever looked at the WNBA app? No one till Clark arrived. Subscriptions. Yes, those increased by 366%. As soon as she joined, people immediately began paying to follow the league. Now, sales of items. That's absolutely crazy. A 610% rise. Everyone was vying for Caitlin's name, number, and jersey. Not to mention the damage she caused to the Indiana Fever. The value of their franchise tripled. Take a moment to process that. Because of one guy, one rookie, the team went from being essentially inconspicuous to becoming one of the most valuable.
For attention about Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has had a seismic impact on the WNBA ever since she first joined. Merchandise sales.
Nevertheless, this inexplicably sparked the league's largest storm. You would think that the WNBA would honor her with a parade, sculptures, and perhaps an armor suit made of bubble wrap. But they didn't. Rather, she surpassed A'ja Wilson, the three-time MVP. The league thereafter entered a state of silent terror. Why? Because what veterans couldn't achieve was being done by a white youngster. All of a sudden, we are discussing politics, egos, and jealousy in addition to basketball.
After she was drafted and heading into her rookie year, A'ja Wilson, who is a three-time MVP of the league, she's won the championship for the Las Vegas Aces. She came out and addressed the attention that Caitlin Clark...
The absurd thing is that Clark, by the way, didn't request this drama. She simply engaged in her game. However, the moment her face appeared on each highlight reel, the game was finished. The backlash was severe. It wasn't nuanced. It was not a professional manner. Furthermore, it was definitely not safe. This is what transpired. She is moving on. The bombshell is that, for the season, she is not available. Not due to the fact that she washed. Not even close. The reason for this is that she has been severely abused on the court and exhausted off of it.
Taking on harder fouls and at a higher rate than any of her peers. So it turns out that in her rookie season, she absorbed 17% of all flagrant fouls, or hard fouls.
Let's return to the topic of numbers, since, even though the drama seemed personal, the data proved it. This season, Caitlin Clark was involved in 17% of all egregious and hard fouls in the WNBA. Just take a moment to consider how absurd that is. Just one player is receiving almost a quarter of the league's worst hits. And you know what? Compared to the next closest player, that figure is more than double. Double. That isn't a contest. Targeting is what that is.
Pulls her blood when people try and say that it's not about race. And so, unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot of commentary that's being made by players when they're on camera and they know reporters are watching.
Neither were these love taps. We're discussing blindside shoulder checks, aerial collisions, and strikes more akin to those seen in rugby matches than basketball games. Besides, the refs clearly went into spectator mode as Clark was being clobbered in every other game. She was fouled 3 or 4 times on a single possession and nothing happened, according to viral videos. Referees and crickets are just staring as if they have forgotten their job description.
More than double the rate of any of her peers. This is not something that you would see occur to any other top star in any other league. And I think a lot of fans are scratching their heads of why the league is allowing this to continue.
The best aspect is that no player received a suspension as a result. Not one. No matter how loudly the audience gasped, how obvious the foul was, or how many slow-motion replays went viral, it made no difference. Nothing. The league simply gave a shrug. Tell me how that makes sense, please. It was even stated bluntly by one analyst. An injury that would end her career is just one flagrant away. And you know what? Finally it did. She is currently out for the season.
There's a lot of jealousy and animosity, and that can be understood, right? If you've been a VP of the league in the past, yet you were unable to achieve.
This is where things get hot, though, because there is more to this situation than just fouls. It goes beyond simple basketball grit. It went much deeper. When A.A. Wilson stated it, she didn't mince words. Race is a major factor. I get really upset when people claim it's not. That's a 3-time MVP using the live microphone to make a racist statement. No filtering. All of a sudden, you understand that Clark is more than simply a body catcher on the court. She is bearing the consequences of a cultural barrier that she never requested to exist.
Able to achieve the visibility and perhaps the endorsements that Caitlin Clark has received right out of the gate, it shows that it's normal to assume that there would be some degree of resentment. However, the concern is that resentment is then leading to targeting on the court.
Black players with years of experience who haven't received national attention, media attention, or endorsements are obviously irritated that a white rookie entered the league and took center stage. And so, I understand your frustration. But we have a very different issue when it escalates into on-court retaliation.
Ms. Clark's civil rights are being violated as she is targeted on the court, the basketball court, and no one's protecting her. Is that what you're saying?
The problem is that Clark never mentioned race, made any accusations, or played the victim. However, animosity set in and the foul count ensued as soon as she was named the league spokesperson. She essentially became the victim of decades of underappreciated black ability. Even though that argument is worthwhile, it most definitely shouldn't be resolved with cheap blows and elbows. Ensure that doesn't occur.
That is the weirdest thing in the world, but it is what it is, and I'm glad that Caitlin has a great head on her shoulder.
Sophie Cunningham, her own teammate, was forced to acknowledge it as well. There is no protection for the league's best player. It tells it all. Not rivals, not supporters. The league was called out by her own teammate. And it's no longer a game when you're being attacked every week and nobody is doing action. That is an impending lawsuit.
Done for the WNBA what Michael Jordan did for...
According to the law, this is a typical hostile workplace. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act states that you can demonstrate racial discrimination and unequal treatment in a pattern of neglect without someone hurling obscenities at you. That is more than sufficient. The WNBA will also have to explain how their most expensive asset was permitted to be hounded like that without even a warning call if this gets to court.
The amount Caitlin Clark is being fouled compared to any of her peers in the league, or the treatment that she receives compared to any other top stars in any other leagues, there's no comparison to it.
Right now, we're here because of all this bullshit. The season is over for Caitlin Clark, the sole reason that half of the nation even knows the WNBA exists. After breaking every rookie marketing record in the book and trying to play basketball, she was thrashed on the court and politically shunned. In addition to feeling upset and disappointed, she's probably wondering why she ever joined this league in the first place.
Protecting its transformative star, the league's leadership ignores the relentless targeting of Miss Clark, treating its greatest asset as if she were a PR headache.
The Wall Street Journal was unreserved. They stated it directly. There is a civil rights lawsuit against the WNBA that is simply waiting to start. No longer is it even a whisper. It's a legal time bomb that becomes louder with each sneaky non-call and overlooked foul. The league's leadership is currently under pressure, as much as they may dislike it.
Obviously ratcheted down. It's been...
Let's be honest. This problem is no longer limited to poor officiating. A pattern of conduct that shouts discrimination from the rooftops is what we are discussing. Do you recall the landmark 1993 case of Harris versus Forklift Systems? Indeed, that small instance demonstrated unequivocally that a hostile workplace does not require a hit to the face to be considered. All you need is persistent, demeaning behavior that makes someone feel awful every time they show up for work. Does that sound familiar?